With a developed appreciation of reflective practice, what we need to do is consider models of reflection in more detail. And first of all, we can look at Dewey's model of reflection. And what John Dewey was talking about in relation to reflective practice was the process of reflection as a process of rationality. And his idea is that the process of reflection is not simply a process of looking, but a process of deep and meaningful thought in such a way that the reflective practitioner is engaging in a very rational, logical, analytical process. In his text, he said, "While we cannot learn or be taught to think, we do have to learn to think." And so this underpins Dewey's idea about what reflection actually is. And so, therefore, reflection and reflective practice is more than just going through a process, but it is indeed a very meaningful and purposeful act, a process that the reflective practitioner goes through. And it leads to desired and important outcomes. It's very active. It includes participation as a process and leads to changes in teaching and learning. And what Dewey was saying is that the whole process is a process of reaching conclusions and identifying actions from conclusions. And interestingly, for Dewey, the idea of reflection models the ideas that he had about teaching and learning, the philosophical and the other educational theories he was developing. And for him, everything was aimed at being as practical as possible. And similarly, reflection is a very practical process from the Dewey perspective. It's simply because he thinks about learning as a very hands-on practical activity that he considers that reflection and the process of reflective practice is also a very practical activity. And he places that practice within a paradigm of rational thinking and interaction with the world. And through this interaction, the individual is building experience, joining experiences together into more meaningful wholes, and using these meanings in order to construct new meanings, to develop a product for themselves, their identity as a teacher and their practice as a professional. And in its simplest form then, for Dewey, the reflective practice is very much comprised of interacting with direct experience and trying to understand that experience from a very deep and meaningful point of view. And we can look at this idea diagrammatically. What Dewey is saying in terms of reflection as a rational process is that it engages the individual with their direct experience of the world. The practitioner is working in a context, in environments, with philosophies and beliefs and values around teaching and learning. And all of this creates a direct experience that the individual is trying to understand. And most importantly, what Dewey is saying is that understanding is not part of a linear process, but understanding is part of an interactive, cyclical process with the physical world, with direct experience. And understanding is therefore a rational and a cognitive process of mind that the reflective practitioner is engaging with. And so, to achieve understanding, what this means is that the reflective practitioner is always seeking to make meaning from experience. What they're trying to do it therefore is engage with that experience and to understand it and to construct a meaning from that for themselves as practitioners.